I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. He loves the ability to manipulate.
I I genuinely believe he's simply an outrageous egomaniac who loves influence. He cherishes the capacity to control individuals. Why, no doubt, since he was misled by his coach, who wanted to control individuals, and his tutor was Andre Tell, let us know how, guided by Clyde Davis purportedly. Diddy got kneeling down for Clive Davis in 1994. And that is the way Terrible Kid Records came about, so that would make Clive Davis Diddy's coach, right? And what they share in common is that both of their crossmen bafflingly end up univ now. The talk about Diddy setting on his requirements for Clive up to get Awful Kid would be gossip had Clive not come out the wardrobe a couple of years prior. And I truly composed it the previous summer on a boat, an excursion that I take with my family. Unquestionably, my great job in life has been my youngsters. I have 4 my grandkids. I have 6, and I composed that piece of the last section. Panther Wright is back with additional tea on Diddy, and this time he's saying that Diddy's tutor Clive Davis could have influenced him into the Illuminati through unusual occultic rehearsals, known exclusively to the tip-top of the elites in Hollywood. Now everybody and their grandmother knows how Diddy in a real sense came up from nothing and turned into a tycoon music magnate, regardless of all the exposition misuse, dealing with murder tricks and everything between that has been flung at him for quite a long time. It seems Clive Davis was instrumental to Diddy's prosperity, notwithstanding all that. And that is the motivation behind why Diddy has never been genuinely researched or made to have to deal with any damages for all his reputed wrongdoings. Yet with anything Hollywood and Illuminati related, nothing comes without a value. Puma, right, accepts Diddy needed to address an expensive cost to get to his influence and abundance today as administrations to recruit up compelling male vibes. So what was Clive Davis's job in this? What cost did Diddy need to pay? And are his supposed Illuminati associations the justifications for why he has not been indicted for any of his violations? We should find out, in light of the fact that he's a sex dealer and he's utilizing music and entertainment traffic. Panther Wright accepts the justification for why Diddy shows up so distant is that he has profound binds with the people pulling the strings, in particular Clive Davis, his tutor. As per her, Clive Davis, who likewise tutored Andre Harold, showed Diddy how to be a full chief and finance manager, yet he additionally showed him how to traffic ladies and men. Assuming you have been following Diddy news in the recent weeks, you should be familiar with the claim that Cassie documented against Diddy, blaming him for saying her dealing her for his pleasure, genuinely mishandling her, and making the 10 years she was with him a pattern of misuse, viciousness, and stealing. The claim made Diddy the authority quickest pilgrim on the planet, in light of the fact that scarcely 24 hours after Cassie documented, his legal counselors were exploding her telephone, attempting to offer her of real value for exchanges. The case ultimately agreed to an undisclosed sum, which individuals have reputed to be more than $30 million. We can delude ourselves and say settling isn't a confirmation of responsibility or even a confirmation of everything, except nobody drops that measure of cash, since they were honest. Yet anyway, above all, the case got into a tricky situation that has seen Diddy get banged with 2 extra claims blaming him for differing levels of misuse and attack. The first is from Delight Dyerson Neal, a previous video lady for Diddy, whose claimed that Diddy went after her in 1991 and caused significant and lifetime wounds because of being tranquilized, attempted and mishandled, and being the casualty of retribution. Neal guaranteed that Diddy had welcomed her to supper in New York, which she hesitantly chose to go to. Minutes into the supper, Diddy supposedly spiked her beverage and drove her to a condo where he attempted her. Since she was so inebriated from being medicated, she supposedly missed the mark on physical and intellectual ability to guard herself against Diddy. She was unable to try and walk or stand up standing. Neal likewise guaranteed that Diddy recorded the whole thing, and she just figured out after the video some way or another advanced back to her through her male companions, in spite of the fact that Diddy's legal counselors guarantee that the claim has no legitimacy and is absolutely a cash get. She has requested a jury preliminary. The subsequent claim was documented by an anonymous lady distinguished as Jane Doe. In the claim, she guaranteed Diddy and performer Aaron Corridor alternated graping her and her companion in 90 Jane Doe, her companion Diddy, and Aaron Corridor were all supposedly at a music industry occasion when the ladies were welcomed back to Aaron Corridor's loft after arriving. Diddy and Aaron Corridor then supposed Bly continued to drive themselves on the ladies. She additionally guaranteed Diddy visited her at her place a couple of days after the fact and gagged her so hard that she dropped on the floor and needed to look for clinical consideration before she could recuperate. Yet that is not all. Individuals from Diddy's past have likewise emerged to reprove him and point fingers at him. For instance, Diddy's previous head of safety, Roger Securities, who was straightforwardly named in Cassie's claim, emerged to share his side of the story on the allegations made by Cassie against Diddy. Roger Securities worked with Diddy for a really long time, including when he and Cassie were seeing someone. Asserted in her claim that Roger Securities saw an occurrence of Diddy truly attacking her in 2009. After he learned she was conversing with one more music director at a club in Law. As per her, Roger Securities saw his supervisor hitting her and, surprisingly, attempted to mediate to stop him because of being name dropped. Ed and Cassie's claims Security made a few to some degree obscure posts saying this isn't intended to be dangers or squealing or any such thing against Cassie or Diddy or any other person. This is me telling my reality as I genuinely recall it for two reasons. Just first, since I have 4 girls, so on. All fellows my reality as I seen it, saw it, and was engaged with it for a really long time. Securities in the end erased the post prior to dropping additional subtleties, so we don't have the fogest idea what he truly needed to say, yet clearly he needed to talk on his contribution with Diddy's supposed attack of Cassie, which affirms essentially that there was an attack. Now there is generally an opportunity anyway, then that Diddy is blameless of this multitude of allegations and every other person is lying. Yet how about we be serious here briefly? Those claims certainly didn't spring out of nowhere, and word on the road is that this is just the starting. We can hope to see more comparative claims aiming Diddy for paper soon, conceivably from men. Diddy's continuous gay gatherings are a loosely held bit of information in the business now, with an ever-increasing number of men approaching with accounts of how unpleasant and harmful those gatherings are. One of those men is remarkable, who once uncovered how he was welcomed to one of Diddy's gatherings after Diddy blamed him for not having any desire to spend time with him. Yet fantastic, was not prepared for how the all-male party turned out, and per him it was sexual to the point that he was unable to remain there for long. He needed to devise a reason to escape the party early. It appears to be like the story told by rapper Display, who said Diddy once took him to a male gay club to party. One more youthful male craftsman who discussed his odd experience at one of Diddy's gatherings is entertainer Fat Drew, who talked about how he once strolled in on Diddy and Felix to house feline spooning at a Miami party. I couldn't say whether the story that I have about P. Diddy is a thing love you believe it's something we discussed it on the show, yet you let us know off the show. Would it be advisable for me? I tell you definitely. I love to. Listen, this isn't affirmed since it happened. No, nothing asserted about this. Okay, it is a legend. I hit up a party on Star Island in Miami where P. Diddy has a confidential home. I should not be being there. I was with a celebrated housemaker who was party certain, and I will keep his name out of it cause everybody there was taking it was fundamental me and like wonderful, like ethnic models, like sort of staggering around. It resembles, you realize it's all similar to my man is letting me know that like you realize each third individual is some leader got in the background, folks who I don't remember. It's a group very high end, no joke. There's perhaps 100 individuals. It is close, so you should not be being there. I'm attempting to find the restroom. I find the washroom and I only sort of go down a stairwell, and presently I'm in like internal windings of the chateau, so I get lost, and I'm in like labyrinth of rooms. Presently I'm searching for the washroom entryway, and there are a lot of men, and they're all similar to extremely like Romanesque, like laying about, and you realize similar to extremely like sort of resting on one another. It was extremely similar to extremely sexual, suggestive, definitely like the drawings you of like old Greek, better believe it. So I have it. I'm there for an extremely concise measure of time since in a real sense, I shouldn't be in there. And I look who is relaxing in my direct eyeline, Puff Daddy and Felix the house feline, renowned house music maker, essentially spooning each other. I commit to God. They're essentially spooning, and their drink of Hennessy And they're similar to sharing it, passing it to and fro, and everybody's talking, and everybody's very much like talking when I see them. I'm similar to all men, however, there's not one lady in this room. All in the moment I visually connect with him. Ganic bouncer comes over and get the out you anxious by any means in like a breaking awful sort of way that perhaps individuals would have been shipped off your home or something like be a little apprehensive see. Now, how I'm combating that is by discussing a public digital broadcast. See you, this will return right. I'm generally protected assuming that I discuss a public that is so insane fat Drew guaranteed that Diddy employed a few male models for this party and that there were innumerable music leaders and participation who were all getting physically involved with one another. And with the models, these gay gatherings are not the issue. The issue is that Diddy purportedly utilizes his nearness to young fellows to